Alright, so my teaching strategy was called the Little Professor Moment, which is kind of self-explanatory. Basically, it's when the teacher divides a class into two groups. It's normally used when there's a lot of content, so the teacher will chunk up the information and teach it to one group of kids, and then take another chunk and teach it to a separate group of kids, and allow the two kids to teach each other. So we've seen this a lot already. Whether you know it or not, we have had this strategy used on us basically our entire educational careers. So I'm sure if you can think back to grade school, you've had teachers that had you teach a group of students, and then you've also been taught by another student. But the information always comes from the teaching group. So this is just a process I'm not going to get into. That's just kind of boring. But you see we're chunking up the information, we're establishing the roles, which is pretty much when the teacher is like, okay, you're going to teach this group, and appoints another student to teach this group. Establish personas, which is just calling them Professor 1, Professor 2, or Little Professor 1, Little Professor 2. So that's what you're calling your students if you're into giving them little names like that. You're going to pretty much, they just take turns teaching each other is what the rest says, and then repeat. One of the things that I really like about this teaching strategy is that it allows students to pick the most important information from the content. So if we had this whole big unit on parts of a cow, and you don't want to the main thing you're focused on is, say, digestion. The student can pick out, maybe I need to teach 5 compartments of the stomach. Just pick out the most important topics from all of the content, rather than, teaching everything all at once. So that's what I like about it. It allows students to decide what's best, what's most important. And why it works is that it increases student understanding through audio input. So basically what that means is that if you're hearing it from another student, it's already been kind of it's no longer in the textbook form anymore. So it allows students to use words that you understand, explain it in a way that you're going to understand better. You're going to be reviewing a lot because you're in a small group. You're probably going to be asking a lot of questions because if you're not learning directly from the teacher, you're not learning from an actual teacher. So you're probably going to have a little bit of questions. And that's good because it's going to involve a lot of conversation about the topic. It's good with keeping students on topic more than anything. If you're broken up into a small group and it's your responsibility to teach the rest of your group about something, and you know that there may be a test coming up, you're going to do your best to try and teach your group of classmates to the best of your abilities, and vice versa. It also increases motivation because it's just not a normal way of teaching. Like a lot of us, we go to classroom, we'll listen to a professor lecture for an hour and 50 minutes or something like that. Whereas in this type of strategy, the students are going to be up and they'll get some brief information from their instructor, decide what's most important, go to their group and teach it. Or listen to another student who has been told the information and will listen to them and take notes, stuff like that. So an example of using this specific teaching strategy would be like a photosynthesis lesson. So say if we were to go into photosynthesis right now, I may say, Peyton, you're going to cover photosynthesis. Andrew, you're going to cover respiration.
Got it.
And I will explain to you in depth, what I want you to teach your classmates. So for photosynthesis, I may say like, Peyton, I want you to explain to your group that plants need photosynthesis, which because it's a form of making food. They get light energy from the sun. They breathe in carbon dioxide and take out oxygen. That would be like something I may say to you, and then you would turn around and maybe talk to Aubrey and Erica, and Hannah, or whichever people are in your group, and you would explain to them basically what I told you, and only you would cipher out what you think is most important. Like I said, that's what I think is the best about this, is you don't have to go into extreme detail because most of the time you want the facts, you want it quick. That's what I really the strategy and why it works.